I try to,
I like that.
What was that? Oh,
The
okay.
honeymoon. The honeymoon phase.
I thought we were going somewhere else for a second, but anyways, yeah.
I keep telling this guy this is not the channel,
We can
or any
make it
channel for that matter. Are you done? Or are you finished? What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Jenny here again with another video, and we also have our guest host,
the husband again, le husband,
Paul. So tonight, as I told you guys before, we are coming on our 10-year anniversary, freaking out because oh my gosh. But I just thought it would be a great way to have some fun as we count down to the 10th anniversary. And one of the feedback that we got last time on the video was that, as newlyweds, like folks that are newlywed or whatever, that video was really helpful to them. So I thought, why not invite this dude to my little corner of the internet some more? So anyway, so today we have a list of 3 things that we wish we knew before we got married.
3 each.
3 each.
Yeah.
The kicker is, he doesn't know my list. I do not know his list. So whatever reaction we get, is going to be the true reaction, y'all.
It's going to be raw. It's going to be real.
Okay. But so I'm really excited about that. But before we get into any of that, if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. And welcome. On this channel, we talk about fashion, lifestyle, travel, and here and there, I sprinkle a little bit of him, a little bit of my kids.
You guys can only handle me in small doses, so that's why
literally
a little bit.
And of course, my life as a career woman. So if any of the above is right up your alley, don't forget to click subscribe. So, are you gonna start or am I gonna start?
Oh man. This is gonna be
good. Anyway,
and exciting.
I'm scared.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot for who goes first?
Sure.
All right. Rock.
Oh wait. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
So
you
I won.
So you go first.
Okay, yeah, I go first.
Sweet Jesus.
All right. Drum roll, please. All right. So the first thing that I wish I knew when getting married about 10 years ago: learn to over communicate.
So learning to over communicate. So I guess you need to give them a little bit of background of why.
So I guess this is a little personal to me as someone who's not really talkative. I would say spoken communication is probably not my
forte.
Not my forte.
Look at me.
I've learned over the years that in a marriage you're just going to have to over communicate. And so some of the things that I put around this is that he or she should not be expected to be able to read your mind.
Ooh.
He or she should not be expected to know what your wants and desires are.
That part.
Nor should they know how you are feeling. So on and so on.
Right.
Et cetera and et cetera. Like we can't put the burden on the other person.
Your partner.
Know. Like, oh, she should know I'm feeling this if she loves me, if she knows me.
No.
They're
not a mind reader.
They're not mind readers, right?
Yes.
And when I was thinking about this and processing this, and
he's such a thinker. Oh my God.
But yeah, so what I was going through this, I was like, I think it's kind of like our relationship with God. You'll probably watch the last video and be like, this guy always making references or comparing things to his relationship with God. But I think it's a fair comparison. Because the way I view like God doesn't leave us to read his mind, but he tells us. So I think it's the same way. Like we shouldn't expect a person to know what we want from them or out of them. We should just tell them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is interesting.
Yeah.
So one of the very first thing on my list, and by the way, babe, that was interesting. Like, I think you took one of, I guess, your weakness.
Yeah.
It's very personal to you, and it's like if you knew then what you know now, you would definitely over communicate.
Definitely over communicate.
Lord.
Yeah. And for some people that just might just be communicating, but for me it's over communicating.
Right. Okay. What kind of pause life, y'all?
For her, it's just
Talking every day.
yeah, you know.
Another Wednesday, another Sunday, but not for this guy, okay? So one of the things for me that was literally number one on my list, and it's something that we talk about all the time.
Okay.
But I think the importance of financials.
Okay. Okay.
The importance of financials.
I'm not surprised. If you know her, I could have guessed that would be one of
Oh
the,
my God,
on
really?
the list.
Did you really?
If you would have asked me to guess, I probably would have guessed that would be
Really?
one of them. Yeah.
Yes. So for me, I think having grown up in Haiti, I think it really stems from that because it's like you see your parents struggle. I didn't see my parents' struggles, but I saw my aunt struggle. I saw struggle around me. Mm-hmm. So coming to the States, you know, it's very much at the forefront of your mind, like, okay, especially like being raised in a foreign household where they're like, listen, you better be all that you can be, and we're expecting you to get a full-time job paying $100,000 million, and you know, and it's like
because they're just handing those out.
Because why not? And so for me, I think, and in the context of marriage, I think the reason why I mentioned that is because if you're a selfish person,
okay, yeah.
Like, that's going to show that you're selfish.
So it tends to show itself in finance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I remember very clearly, I lost my job 7 months into our marriage.
Yeah.
And I was jobless or unemployed for 10 months.
Yeah.
7 months into our marriage, wasn't employed literally for a year.
Yeah.
And you were literally carrying that burden. And so for me, financials has always been at the forefront because it's like, oh my God, if we didn't make certain choices or things like that, like we would have been worse off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think if I knew then what I know now, I would put a lot of emphasis on financials.
So are you saying financial education within the context of a household?
Not necessarily I guess education, but like really communicating about like, how do you approach finance?
Okay.
How do I approach finance?
All right. So more.
And if it's completely different, how do we then align ourselves to be in the middle where you can be satisfied and I can be satisfied?
Okay. So more of a understanding how the person views money, you know, how they
manage money, how they view money.
Are they a saver? Are they a net spender?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of people, again, in marriage, it's like, well, my little pal is my little pal. Your little pal is your little pal. Like, I can't imagine if that were to happen and I was in the position that I was in with losing my job, how we would have fared.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very key because it's like, finances are major because it's like, I'm working hard and, you know, I'm making my money, especially as like independent woman. Yeah. It's like, nah, sis, that's not like, right. And it's like, not only show me that independence now, but it's like, you're a team now.
Yeah.
Again, people have different ways they approach finances in their relationship, but what works for us is literally merging our assets together to like, for the betterment of our family.
Yeah.
And so for me, if it's like, a penny is a penny, it's my penny.
Yeah.
Versus like a penny is your penny.
Yeah. And I don't think she or we were trying to advocate, you know, our way is the best way.
Right. Not at all.
But I think it's, you know, it's the best way for us.
Right.
And it potentially could be the best way for you as well.
You know?
You know, because you're married, like you're merging so much of your life,
much of who you are.
And why not, you know,
habits,
anyways. Yeah.
So financial education, understanding how the person works versus how you work, coming in the middle, and how you approach it for your family and what's best for you guys. So that's one of the things I wish I knew.
Okay.
And I wish we had discussed more.
We've discussed finances more. Before
marriage, yes.
Understanding what are my spending habits?
Yes.
What are your spending habits? What's important to you? You know, do you have a financial roadmap or financial plan, and when do you want to buy a house? You know,
that part,
stuff like that.
All of that. I feel like we didn't have this conversation at all.
I think we had it around important things. You know, like planning for the wedding.
Right.
You know, we talked about finances.
And Lord knows that was like minute in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, 10 years, like a one day event. You know, is
nothing.
Ocean,
okay,
right?
Nothing.
So I'd say my second thing that I wish I knew is time and routine tends to create laxity.
What is laxity?
The state of being lax. Right. So time and routine tends to create
lax, as in like I'm relaxed. Like lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Okay, like your approach is like laissez-faire.
I think the best way to look at. So I was listening to this podcast about this DEA agent who was tasked with going down to Colombia and capturing Pablo Escobar.
Lord, leave it to Paul, y'all.
And so he was been there for a couple of years. And one day he left the office late and driving home, and Escobar sent his hitman after him to kill him, right? And he was able to survive. But what he got out of that was that he started to be a little loose around,
like lackadaisical about the way he approached things.
Exactly. Okay. So things that he used to do, like
he was no longer vigilant.
He was no longer vigilant. He let his guard down and things like that. And he said it's just he's just been in time. He built up a routine. So and I think like in a marriage, it's the same way. Like you build up a routine. You
get in a groove.
You get in a groove. You get a couple of years in. You're like, okay, I got this. Like the little details that you used to pay attention to. You no longer pay attention to. The things that used to amaze you about him or her. You might kind of view a little ordinary now. So I think that's something that everyone should know and watch out for.
Going into the marriage, like, listen.
Yeah.
I know you love her eyes, but her eyes won't always stay this gray or something.
Yeah. Well, it's not that it won't always stay, blue like the Tenerife Sea. But
of course. You had to put Mr. What's his name in there? What's his name?
Mr. Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually taught him how to sing. But anyways, yeah, it's not that. I think rather it's like you just gotta be just vigilant, right?
Right.
Say like I used to do this. I find that I'm starting to not really care too much, in this arena or in this area. And
it's like catch yourself.
Yeah, catch yourself. Don't let like for that DEA agent, like don't wait for that event to happen. To bring you back to say, oh wow, I need to get back on my groove. Get back in the groove or get back on my toes.
Right.
Don't let like some life-changing event happen. For you to get back to that space, but rather say just from time to time, just try to catch yourself.
I like that.
Yeah, of course you do. What'd you expect from le husband? We
are moving on to my second point.
All right.
I think my second point is knowing how to fight.
Knowing how to
maybe not fight.
Okay.
Knowing how to argue.
Knowing how to argue, okay.
Without going like below the belt.
Okay, so just knowing how to argue. Okay.
Knowing how to argue, right. Knowing how to argue and like making a point, like making your point versus making my point. So would you say like we don't really fight too much, would you say?
I would say no. Thanks be to God.
Right, by the grace of God, y'all. It's not like I'm like, ooh, let us argue some more. Like I'm not seeking for that. Yeah. Knock on wood, knock on all the things.
Yeah,
But for me, I think it's personalities that I'm like that I needed to get used to. So I'm very much I'm pissed off. Give me a moment. Let me dwell on it.
Okay.
And you're very much like.
So what is the other person's approach to conflict resolution?
Conflict resolution is literally like, because you're very much let's talk about it now. On the spot.
Let's get it over with. As opposed to her, she's like, give me a minute, give me a day, give me a month, give me a year.
Oh my God. The devil's a lie. Don't listen to this man. No. But for me, I think I underestimate, because of course, before we got married, I had some points that we needed to work out, right? Oh my God, I don't agree with this. Yeah. And you felt very strongly about it. Yeah. And you feel very strong about your point. And so we weren't under the same roof. Mm-hmm. And that was the difference. Like you could go about your day, and I could go about mine, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, okay.
But now we're under one roof. I have to deal with you.
Jeez, you have to deal with me.
You have to deal with me. And like, how do we do this so that it won't fester, so that it won't, it won't prolong, especially now that we know we have different approaches to things, right? We know he wants to discuss it immediately. We know I want to take my time.
Yes, princess.
So how do we So for me, I think it's very key to understand before you get married. Like, how do you argue? How do you resolve certain conflicts? How do you make your point without going below the belt? How do you talk it out? And
so you're saying two things, right? I think it's a double entendre. Like you're saying that
Paul's translating my stuff for me.
No, so you're saying that one, what is the person's approach to conflict resolution,
right?
And two, does that person know how to respect certain boundaries respectfully? Can you respectfully disagree with someone without going?
Well, that's like secondary to be honest. I mean, that's like maybe that's not even a point. I mean, I just brought this up just because.
Okay.
But I think the point is like.
No, but I think it's a good one.
Right? No, I know. But I'm like, if we don't even know how we're gonna resolve our conflicts or a disagreement, how are we gonna move on?
Yeah.
How are we gonna be great? How are we gonna like? There's so many things like how are we gonna do it? So I think that's very, very key. And for me, I feel like we're still learning that. Still, I mean, I know that he wants to discuss immediately.
Yeah.
But it needs to. Marinate in my spirit.
Yeah, I would say you may know how the person approaches conflict resolution and know how they choose to process through things. That doesn't mean, like, this is not in an attempt to change the person.
Right.
This is rather in an attempt to understand the person. Right? Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just dropping gems on them. Like, I'm like Curry out here. Just dropping.
Can somebody...
Making it rain.
This is why you can't give Paul a compliment, number one. Because it literally is a finger.
I don't need compliments.
And he makes it a whole arm. You guys see this?
I don't need compliments.
He makes it a whole arm.
I am a walking compliment. You guys love me.
No, we really don't.
I feel it.
Can you get on to your third point, sir?
All right.
Lord?
My third point of what I wish I knew is you don't know yourself as well as you think. You're pretty selfish.
Ooh.
You're pretty petty. And you may not know that, until you start living within the context of a marriage.
I think that's so key. Oh my God. Because a lot of times, like when you hear preachers, and I follow a lot of like women mm-hmm. preachers, or mm-hmm. maybe one or two. And she always talks about how marriage is like a mirror. Like your partner is literally like a mirror where you look at yourself and look at all your, all the negatives and the positives also, right? Like you can also discover that you're a good person, you're this, you're that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the ugliness is gonna rear its head. Like, dude, you are selfish for doing this.
Yeah, I would say thank you for adding that. It's a mirror, and not only is it gonna reflect, the bad side of you, but it also will show you some of the good side of you. You probably didn't realize you were, as patient as you thought you were. You probably come across that, man, I'm like, you're really patient,
Long suffering is what I'd like to call it.
Right?
Dealing with Paul.
See, that's not how we fight. That's below the belt. I'm just kidding.
He is annoying. No, but like, that is very, very key. And I think a lot of times, like, you've been with the person for a long time and you feel like, I know them, like being under the same. No.
Yeah.
Until you live with somebody, until you're under the same roof as somebody, until you're dealing with somebody every day, until they.
Well, you're talking about knowing the other person. So what I'm saying is
knowing yourself. Yeah. And I think that's I'm still along the same line. Okay. It's like, you think you know yourself. You think you know how you're going to react to certain things. You think, got this.
Yeah.
I've done this before.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
Marriage is like, no, you gotta be quicker than that. Like, literally.
Yeah.
And so I think that's very, very, very key.
Yeah. Going into it, I mean, you have to have an open mind in a sense, knowing that, like, there are going to be things about myself that's going to be revealed that's going to be ugly, that I'm not going to like. And
yes.
The question is, what do you want to do about that? How do you want to approach that?
And it's up to you to be like, you know what? I want to change.
And not try to throw it on the other person saying, well, it's not me who needs to change.
Period.
Sometimes, dude, it is you. Dude or dudette. Paul
wants to be paid today. The last is literally, it's not, don't like build a thing around it.
Let's hear it.
What I wish I knew was how difficult it would be to get pregnant.
Okay.
Because as young people, we really think like,
you're fertile.
You're fertile myrtle, and it's gonna happen. It's so funny because I think you asked me that not too long, a long time ago. You're like, what would you say? I'm like, the number one thing I would say to any couple is like, test yourselves.
Yeah.
And this is very practical, y'all. Like, this is not like jaw-breaking revelation. Like, having been what we've been through.
Yeah, get that sperm analysis early.
Get the sperm analysis. Get your uterus checked.
Yeah.
Because that to me was a shock to the system and a shock to our marriage, I think, and a test to our marriage.
Test to our marriage, really? Test to our marriage? Like the whole
what
institution?
I mean by that is like if you were to react differently and not the way you did when you found out that you had issues with your sperm, if I were to react differently to your issues and my issues, I don't think we would have made it this far. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I guess that's fair because we do have examples of marriages who have broken under that stress.
Yes, it's a lot of stress, and it's like, sis, you might want to talk this out or whatever, and talk about it like openly, like, hey, listen. Or if you know you're dealing with it in advance, like it's a conversation that needs to be had. Usually the man is not going to get tested, ahead of time. He's like, I know I'm dealing with sperm issues. They're not going to do that. But as a woman, you go to your GYN 24/7.
Yeah, the guy's like, if it shoots, it shoots. It ain't broken. Unfortunately, my fellow citizens of Earth, it can be broken.
Anyways. So for me, that would be my last one and very, very important because it was like, oh, shoot.
I am not going to lie. I was extremely shocked when I found out how difficult it was to
get pregnant.
Even with, you can have everything right. Like, it is still difficult to get pregnant.
Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of people are not educated on, and they just think like, Joe Smo did it, so can I.
I would say it's really important now. I think as we see men and women get married later and have start families later. I would say it's really important to just keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on it. Keep checking it.
Yeah.
How do you feel? That was my last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really, I think that last one definitely, I can say.
Took you for a loop?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Yes, well, thank you. I got surprises on my sleeves. Anyway, y'all.
So let me see. So I think
you don't have too much time.
Oh, okay. I'll just sit here and
No. What was your last thought? So I guess I want to know and understand which one resonated with you the most.
Oh man, it's a tough one. Which one resonated with me the most from your three?
From my list.
It would either have to be conflict resolution, the point on conflict resolution, or the point on finances.
And why?
So I think because conflict resolution is it's just a key part in a relationship.
Right.
And so I think knowing how to in a healthy manner to go about bringing a resolution to any conflicts that may arise, I think is very important. And also learning to, I guess we can say, like, fight fair, sort of stuff.
Right.
Not really fight fair, but fight within boundaries.
Right.
Because words do hurt, contrary to, what we were taught growing up,
Sticks and stones.
Words do hurt and they stick. So once you say them,
very rarely can you take them back, and even if you do, you've already said it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So very rare.
So,
I would say, for me, your last point about getting a better understanding of yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like we got married pretty young-ish.
Young-ish.
25, 24.
Okay.
Yeah, so young-ish, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people are like, God.
Yeah.
No, so we were still getting to know ourselves.
Oh yeah, big time.
Still developing and coming into our own, and to have someone else to be not responsible, but to be exposed to someone else's growth during that time is an added stress.
It's an added stress, but there's also a beauty to it, I would say.
Of course, because it's like, wow, I remember when you used
to see that person grow. It's like kind of like seeing your newborn or
Yes.
take their
Yes.
first
Yes.
steps or something like
Very
that.
much so. Very much so.
So there's
It's
a
so
joy
funny
to
because
it.
I was actually showing my cousin your picture yesterday
Um,
of like this was like 2016,
okay.
and to see the growth, you literally look like a baby.
Yeah.
When I'm telling you, baby,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me right now? And so to that point, yes, definitely like seeing somebody grow not only physically but also mentally
Yeah.
in their walk, like in their career, like etc.
It's a beautiful thing.
So I think
is.
it's
It's a
yeah.
beautiful thing.
And seeing them also change, habits and like develop into this brilliant human.
So
is
you're
amazing.
saying not only do you not know yourself as well as you think you do,
Mhm.
but yourself is going to change as well.
Literally.
So right when you get to know yourself, you're like,
You gotta be quicker than that. No, but it's like this. It's
But
this
it's-
evolution that's
yeah.
that's beautiful.
it's changed within certain parameters. Within
Right.
certain
It's not like
context, yeah.
I'm becoming a whole new person. I don't even know who
Yeah.
I'm married anymore. Not that.
Yeah.
But it's literally like you growing with the person and them understanding, like, and supporting that and feeding that.
Yeah.
And I think that's very key.
Yep.
So, with that,
Yeah, no, this
any
is-
last
this is
words of wisdom for the people?
good. Because I am just a ball of wisdom. I know you guys
No. So
are just waiting.
we're just gonna move
bated
on.
breath, just like, oh, Lord Pablo, please, Senor Pablo, please.
This guy literally said, Senor Pablo. Anyway.
You know what? I think that's what I want to be addressed as. from now
Oh
on.
my God.
Senor Pablo. Yes. Okay. So YouTube, introducing Senor Pablo.
Let me know when you're done.
Señorita.
Because you're not done.
Silencio.
Anyway, let me Lady Gaga my sleeves. But yeah, you guys, I hope this was helpful. Again, this is just our list. Obviously, you can have your own list of, if you are going to get married, if you are married, whatever it is,
Yep.
that could be useful to you. But if anything we said here was has slightly resonated with you, like, please feel free to let us know in the comments below, or even share with us your own list of if you've been married for quite some time or even 2 months or so. Like, there's a ton to learn in those 2 months, right?
I would say, again, like this is our list, and I think what you really should probably take away from this, apart from I think we made some very good points.
Yeah.
I think it's the tough conversations. Like, learn
Right.
to have those tough conversations
Right.
early. Learn to ask those tough questions early.
very early, right?
Think outside the box, sort of say, don't just stay within, that honeymoon phase, lovey-dovey, but try to,
I like that.
What was that?
The
Okay.
honeymoon, the honeymoon phase.
I thought we were going somewhere else for a second, but anyways, yeah.
I keep telling this guy this is not the channel,
We can
or any
make it
channel for that matter. Are you done? Or are you finished? Oh
You
my
need to
God.
let me know what y'all want to see. And I mean, see. They love me.
Thank you, guys, for watching. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, let us know in the comments below. Until next video.
Senor Pablo.
Au revoir. Can you say au revoir?
Bye-bye. Adios.
Bye, guys.